Watch Dr. Drew's new show at 9 on HLN. Weeknights on HLN.
How do you deal with what they're saying about in the trunk of the car?
There was a bag of pizza for, 12 days in the back of the car full of maggots. It stunk so bad. You know how hot it's been.
Well, there we are again. Is that more lies, more cover-up, or just a poor, bewildered woman who's trying to deal with all this? Tonight, experts testify it wasn't food or a dead animal making that car smell like a dead body. Air samples were taken from the trunk, and there were particles in the air that showed human decomposition. Now, these tests are not 100% conclusive, but I'm just saying. Hair from the trunk was also tested. Listen to this.
What I was looking for were any hairs that exhibited characteristics of apparent decomposition. And then that hair I compared to a hair recovered from the hairbrush, which is identified as belonging to Caylee.
Criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh is back with us. I also have joining me psychoanalyst Bethany Marshall and former criminal defense attorney John Lucic. Now, John, the hair apparently could belong to any female Anthony, any female member of the Anthony family, Caylee, Casey, or Cindy. But only one of those people was post-mortem. Now, what do you make of the death bands on the hair, and help explain this to us?
Okay, there's a band, a dark band that appears just at the base above where the follicle would have been, and if that's there, according to the experts, that means this came from a decomposed body. If that is true and that band was there, then we know it could have only been Caylee's, because it's not going to come from Casey, she's still alive. It's not going to come from Cindy, she's still alive. And by the way, when was the last one of either one of those were in Casey's trunk? So when you put two and two together, it still equals what's going on here. Now, also what you're talking about with the chloroform before, let's not forget about Casey Anthony's searches on the internet about how to make chloroform. So that in and of itself is not going to stand by itself. There's no doubt in my mind they're going to try and link those two pieces of evidence to show that there's a correlation.
Well, interesting you would mention chloroform, because you at home are not going to believe this. Casey's ex-boyfriend is a guy named Ricardo Morales, posted this on his MySpace page. Look at this. Come on now, there. Let's see. There it is. Look at that. Isn't that romantic? Win her over with chloroform. This is what he posted. He posted this photo on his MySpace, or one of his pages, and then someone subsequently from the Anthony's home computer Googled chloroform. And then Caylee went missing. I mean, I don't know. Now, listen, people need to be aware that chloroform has become a drug of abuse. Inhalants are out there. I mean, maybe they were just getting high using this drug. Maybe the kid got into their chloroform. Who knows? But Bethany, my next question is for you. And I was preparing Bethany. That I had a tough question for her. What's wrong with me that I cannot get my head around how potentially sick this situation is? I literally don't want to believe it. It's just, when I think of the possibility of what might have been the case here, I get physically ill. And so I push away from it.
I think it's because you have a hard time understanding why a parent would not bond with a child. Because you're a dad, right? You have triplets.
I literally get sick. I think it kills me. When I really let it in, it's a very sickening feeling.
But when you really understand the nature of Casey Anthony's disorder, what you have to keep in mind is narcissism, borderline, and antisocial personality disorder. With borderline, remember, there's a sensitivity to abandonment.
Right.
So she would throw her child under the bus in order to frantically reunite with her boyfriends. With narcissism, there's lack of empathy and playing by one's own rules instead of the rules of society. But with antisocial, there's severe lack of anxiety. Okay.
What about us, though? The question was, I'm dying
What's wrong with us?
I'm a father of three.
I get what potentially on paper, and I'm glad you went through that too, because we throw along lots of terms on this show, and I want people to understand. And finish with the antisocial, and then tell us about Mark and me, and what's wrong with us.
We don't want to believe this. We don't want to see it.
Yeah,
I don't want to know from it.
And people attack me on the internet if I don't go all the way there, because I want to accept that maybe there's some defense here, maybe this isn't a monster. I'm open to that possibility. The public doesn't want that possibility. And when I think about what might have gone on here, I physically get ill. But you finish with the antisocial.
Okay, the thing with antisocial is there's severe lack of anxiety and stress. That's why she looks so calm in court. Anxiety is what causes the conscience to form. When we're little kids, we get in trouble, our mothers get mad at us, we're like, oh no, she's going to withdraw her love. We get anxious and we conform. So that anxiety is crucial to the formation of a conscience. Some researchers have suggested that people with antisocial personality disorder do not have anxiety, and because of that, they have no conscience. Now, the two of you are horrified because you're both dads, right?
Correct.
You're a
Young
dad.
kids, yeah.
You should feel horrified. That's why we're all watching this case. We know what it's like to be a child. Many people know what it's like to be a mother, and the idea that that bond could be disrupted is a very difficult thing for us to wrap our minds around.